Raheem, what's going on with the latest news regarding the UK ambassador to the United States?
Yeah, it's a really important story, really fascinating sequence of events because, of course, whether or not people really still think about it, the United Kingdom is America's largest military ally. It is one of America's largest economic trading partners. And so the embassy, the ambassador, and the interoperationality, when you look at Five Eyes, when you look at NATO, when you look at the bilateral information sharing, intelligence sharing that goes on, that's a pretty big deal. There's a reason that the British Embassy is one of the largest in Washington, D.C., and it speaks to the fecklessness and arrogance of the British government that for so long they have appointed ambassadors who are nasty about Donald Trump, who have said horrendous things, who have terrible things in their own past. And the latest to be floated for this plenipotentiary position is Lord Mandelson. Now, I don't necessarily expect everyone to remember or know who Lord Mandelson is, but in brief, he was one of the top advisors, known as the Dark Lord, to the left-wing Prime Minister Tony Blair in 97 onwards to about 2007. He was deeply responsible for Britain's social and economic decline. He was deeply responsible for drawing the UK closer into the European Union. And so the idea that Keir Starmer, the current Prime Minister, would shove somebody like Lord Mandelson into the embassy in DC and expect him to be taken seriously is a great affront to President Trump. It's a great affront to the American public and what they voted for. It shows a deep disconnect of Britain with America right now. And I'm frankly embarrassed about that and apologetic, actually, to all of you about that. Lord Mandelson, with his long-standing, long reported, by the way, in case you're worried about any libel laws, links to Jeffrey Epstein. Lord Mandelson, who has said some of the most skullduggerous things about Donald Trump. He simply would not be able, and by the way, still pulls, I believe, a pension from the European Union. So where do his loyalties lie? I don't think he would be an effective ambassador. And now we're hearing that actually in a relatively unprecedented move, I did some research into this, it may be the case that Donald Trump actually refuses his credentials, which is in the gift of the receiving country of an ambassador to do, but it's deeply unheard of. I think the last time you guys did it was some corruption scandal in Korea in early 2000s, and before that it was Iran, Cuba, and before that it was Nazi Germany. So for that to be considered at that extent actually is a major diplomatic move that we need to pay close attention to. It tells you something. It tells you that it's not business as usual for this incoming Trump administration and that they're just simply not going to put up with it anymore. They did that the first 4 years. They had terrible ambassadors. They had terrible situations diplomatically. We don't need another of those situations here. And Lord Mandelson represents that.
In closing here, Raheem, we have 38 days left. Let me see, 1,458 days of this Trump administration to go. That's a lot of time left on the clock. Raheem, what do you want to see done that has not yet been done or addressed? Things not just signed, but agency directives that you want to see the new Trump administration tackle?
It's a great question. I don't know that I've put together a list yet, but I sure would like to resurrect Stephen K. Bannon's old whiteboard from his West Wing office that I believe ended up getting buried in the White House storage in the basement after he left in 2017. There are so many things left on that which remain unticked. I think we have to get our heads around the immigration issue, the legal immigration issue into the United States, because there is such a scam going on with all of that as well. I think it should be relatively prioritized. I also think, look, there are plenty of opportunities here, and I know that people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump are not going to miss out on these. There are plenty of cultural opportunities as America reaches its 250th anniversary, as you're hosting the World Cup. There are all these huge cultural events that are going to be taking place over that 1,000+ days that you mentioned, that I think you have to embrace, and I think you have to inculcate Trumpism, MAGA-ism into the American psyche over these next 4 years too. Let's have a McDonald Trump Day, a national cheat day, a national Maha cheat day for America. Changing the culture is as important as changing the politics, and there's lots of things that can happen between now and then. But listen, you say there's 4 years. They're not. There's like 2 years. You've got to get these things done this side of the midterms.
That's right.